Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Regina and I am a medium. I'm a psychic medium, and in this video I want to tell you a little bit more what to expect on this channel, and also a bit of my mediumship background, what gives me credibility really to talk about mediumship and everything mediumship related. And I think it's just gonna give you better understanding where I'm coming from, what to expect, and yeah, that's basically it. This channel is really meant to be everything about mediumship, answering questions about mediumship and giving tips and insights into mediumship experiences, whether you are experiencing them and are being scared of these experiences, or you are experiencing something that's paranormal and you want to learn more, or you are experiencing having mediumship abilities and you're curious about it, and maybe you're scared and want to learn how to go about it, how to not feel scared. And I am mentioning scared because that seems to be the top challenge that people have, communicating with those in spirit, or having the ability to communicate with spirit but not having mastered this ability yet. And I like to say this channel is intended to be a channel that I wish I would have had opportunity to come across when I was growing up, to explore this topic of mediumship and learn more about it and get my questions answered, and also not feel so alone. Because when it comes to mediumship and my own personal experience, I was that kid who grew up seeing ghosts and spirits, but I did not really understand what exactly it was all about. I did not grow up in supportive of mediumship environment. It was not supported in my family. It wasn't also supported in the country itself, because I grew up in, up until I was like 14 years old, I grew up in a communism, which meant that nothing that was unique and individual was encouraged and supported, and nobody really talked about communicating with spirits and being psychic and things like that. It was kind of one of those big taboo, on top of the fact that I did grow up some decades ago when overall, even just in the world, it wasn't spoken of as much as now. Now we have these different reality TV shows, and they are featuring different mediums and how this ability to communicate with souls in spirit is and can be valuable and helpful. But on top of the fact that the times I grew up, even in the world, not just in the country I grew up, but in the world in general, this topic of communicating with those in spirit wasn't really talked about as openly as nowadays. I had challenge of having grown up in a communism system where you were really forced, expected to follow the rules and fit in with the crowd, and that just added an extra challenge. I did learn, however, not just few years ago, about like 4 or 5 years ago, I learned that my mom sees ghosts and spirits. It kind of slipped in completely random conversation between me and her, but then once she realized, once I called her out on it, she just shut me down, shut this conversation down. She doesn't want to talk about it. She like But I did find it interesting that she also has this ability that's, as I like to call it, is beyond average, because my belief is that everyone can communicate with those in spirit to some degree. To which degree? That's a different question. But everyone has the ability to connect with those in spirit to some level. Um, Anyhow, yeah, so that's where it really started for me. And like I said, I was really scared of the experience. I don't ever remember feeling alone. There was always this feeling there's someone around, and there were times I would see spirits. I always heard them, I always sensed them. To this day, I go to bed. I think I developed this. How do I say it? Like, I turned myself into a night person, because I would, as a kid, I didn't have a strict bedtime, so I stretched out my evening to being so late when I go to bed, so that I would fall asleep shortly after I go to bed. Like, so I would be so super tired. I wouldn't need to lay in bed and hear spirits, because as soon as I would turn off the light, that's when the real activity started, and I started to hear them, the footsteps, the whispers, the doors opening and closing, even though there was no one physically there. To this day, I sleep with like blanket, bedspread, whatever it's called, like covering my ears. I mean, now I'm not scared of those in spirit. But from my childhood, like, that's how I was falling asleep, because it kind of like lessened the intensity of what I heard and sensed from spirits when I did that, covering my ears when going to bed. Now it's just kind of a habit and helps me to fall asleep quicker. It's kind of like a comfort in a way, I guess. But yeah, that's kind of happening. And then I started to travel. I graduated college and in my birth country, and then I left the country and started to travel and live in different countries. And that is when I really learned that there are other people around the world who also have had experiences very similar to mine growing up, and that communicating with those who have passed away is actually a thing, and it's a good thing, and that it can be, like, I saw all the benefits that it can bring, the healing that can happen when communicating with those in spirit, the closure it brings, and just healing on so many levels. And I started to really embrace my mediumship abilities, and I just really consumed all the information I possibly could, from reading and watching and listening and taking classes from mediums who had more experience than I did. And then eventually I started to offer help with any kind of mediumship experiences to other people, one-on-one sessions, started to teach classes. I also used to have a radio talk show, and I interviewed other mediums on my radio talk show, and I even some years ago wrote a book on how to be a medium, which is now in a what's it called, like a second edition editing phase. Yeah, so I've been teaching classes, offering one-on-one sessions, and just decided that even though I've started, like, if you watch videos back here on my channel, I've started to post some videos already some years ago, but now I'm really at the place where I want to create this channel almost like for my kid self, who was growing up and didn't really have anyone to turn to and anyone to talk to about, like, learn what my experiences with mediumship meant, and how to embrace them, and how good they could be, and like what it all means, and all these different random questions that I had. I'm gonna try to answer them in this on this channel in different videos, gathering questions from my own personal, professional experience, and also questions, looking up questions that are asked by people just in general on social media world, in the world of internet. The questions that maybe I haven't received personally, but that are out there about mediumship, and I'm gonna talk about that. I'm gonna answer the questions. And I'm gonna give you tips and insights about mediumship and communicating with souls in spirit, whether it is loved ones in spirit or just random spirits that can show up or we can come across with, and just really gonna cover a wide variety of topics about mediumship. And I mentioned earlier in this video that this is kind of meant to be a channel which I wish I would have stumbled upon those many years ago when I started to notice, understand really that something was happening in my world that nobody else really talked about, and I wanted to learn more about it, but didn't know where to. And if there would have been internet at the time and I would have come across this channel, then that would have helped me so much to understand mediumship better and learn and feel empowered having these abilities and everything of that kind. And so welcome to my channel, and if you would like to hear more, see more, and get your questions answered, then your mediumship questions answered, then I am happy to see you here. Subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the future videos. And also feel free to explore the videos that I already have on this channel from the past. So yeah,